Hello, everybody. This is Preston Poulter here with Pocket Jazz Comics, and I got lots of pages today. We got Larry, who submitted 2 scripts.
Yes.
Fantastic, Larry. Good job. And we got some more Demonatrix, and I submitted the almost end of Lords of Iron. So we're going to go through those. And, let's see. I was reading Demonatrix. There was kind of a funny, sometimes I have a hard time reading the screen, but apparently we open here. I will share the script. Hello, my pickles. How are you? We always look forward if you want to come in and present stories all on your own. John's Demonatrix story here opens in a mental hospital, but I thought it said hentai hospital, and I'm like, oh yes, I like where this story opens immediately. But instead, no, it's just a boring old mental hospital. He did want me to give everyone a trigger warning. There is a non-consensual sex scene, aka it's a little rapey. So if that is not good, then
skip to the next script.
Skip to the next script, exactly. All right. So who's going to narrate this bad boy?
I'll make Larry narrate. I don't like
to. I'm thinking the hentai hospital is gonna be way better.
There you go.
I mean, she's
well. Our dear old janitor is trying to make it a hentai hospital. So
okay,
there you go. Yeah.
So it kind of is a hentai hospital, even though it's not supposed to be.
Okay. All right. So who's narrator?
Larry can narrate.
Larry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm making him narrate all of my sex scenes.
That's right.
Preston, why don't you start off doing Tatiana?
Hell yeah.
And then we'll see where we go from there.
All right.
Okay. All right. Interior mental hospital. Recreation room night. Emmy, drugged and groggy, is playing checkers with Tatiana in the recreation room. Other patients mill about the room.
You humans never cease to amaze me. You're a bunch of selfish, arrogant apes, and yet he treats you like his own children.
Tatiana moves her piece.
Not us. No, we're made to serve and worship. Do whatever he says.
Emmy moves a piece, but to the wrong color square.
You can't move there. You want it here.
Tatiana slides the piece, looks at Emmy.
Or here.
Tatiana slides it to another square. Emmy nods. Tatiana leaves the piece, examines the board.
As I was saying, so of course, if we don't follow orders, we're exiled. But you people, he gives you chances and chances and chances, like one day they'll figure it out.
Tatiana makes a move, double jumping 2 of Emmy's pieces. She looks up at Emmy.
One day he'll get bored of you and he'll wipe the slate clean like he's done dozens of times before.
The janitor exits the recreation room, bathroom, and heading for the main floor. Tatiana's eyes follow him across the room. The janitor scans his key card. The door beeps, and he exits.
I feel like you could save a couple of words here and just say the janitor exits the bathroom and heads for the main door. Just a thought. Excuse me?
Tatiana walks up to the door. She looks at the nurse standing behind the glass, supervising. He presses a button. The door beeps and Tatiana exits. Exterior mental hospital night. Lolita, in demon form, swoops down from above. She flies around, peeking into various windows until she finds the recreation room and Emmy sitting by herself. She scans the room through the window at the other patients and spots the nurse's station. Recreation room, nurse's station. As the male nurse watches the patients, Lolita passes through the wall, immaterial behind, before turning into human form. Lolita taps the nurse.
Excuse me.
The nurse turns. Lolita slugs him, knocking him out. Interior mental hospital, patient's room. The janitor stands beside the bed of a patient, his dick out, shoving it in her mouth. He holds his cell phone over recording. He grunts as he comes. The patient chokes. He pulls out, holding her mouth shut and forcing her to swallow it. Is that
Effect shot.
Effect shot? Okay. Zoom out.
I would just usually put FX instead of EFX. But...
Yeah, that's why I was a bit confused. But
yeah, I would get rid of the E.
Okay.
Zoom out of cell phone screen to reveal interior mental hospital janitor's closet. Tatiana is watching the video on the janitor's cell phone.
That should be angle cell phone.
There we go. Angle cell phone. Tatiana closes the video. She scrolls through the phone, loads another video. Another patient's room. The janitor is...
that took a while, sorry.
The janitor is vaginally penetrating the patient with the end of the mop handle while recording it with his phone. Janitor closet. Tatiana watches. Her expression is cold, emotionless. Patient's room. Flashback. The female patient sits up on her bed speaking with Tatiana, who appears in her angelic form. White feathered wings on her back, shining silver armor with gold bracers on her left arm.
Can you make him stop?
That's why I'm here.
Patient smiles. Tatiana leans forward, kissing her on the forehead.
I promise you, he won't touch you ever again.
Thank you. I knew God would answer my prayers.
He has. You can rest easy now.
Janitor's closet. Tatiana exhales. The closet door opens as the janitor wheels up his mop and bucket inside. He notices Tatiana with his phone.
What the fuck?
How many?
Give that to me.
Tatiana scrolls through the phone.
You've got over 100 videos here, and I haven't even started on your browsing history.
He has really good data plan. Anyway, no.
Yeah.
The janitor grabs Tatiana's arm. Tatiana grabs his wrist, squeezing it and breaking bones. The janitor falls to his knees in front of her. Tatiana places the phone on the shelf.
What the fuck are you?
Tatiana smiles, releasing the illusion spell, revealing her shining silver armor, white angelic wings, a gold bracer on her left arm.
Did you think God wouldn't hear the cries of the weak? The weak are to be protected, not preyed upon.
I'm sorry.
Tatiana grabs his throat, choking him.
Don't. The time of your penance is past.
Tatiana stares into his pleading eyes as she strangles him with one hand. Tears stream down his cheeks.
I gotta say, this is a stronger scene. And I like the hammy dialogue. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it works.
It's good.
Tatiana releases him, stepping backwards. He chokes, breathing heavy. Tatiana stares at her hands. The janitor stares at Tatiana, then at the phone on the shelf. He leaps forward, raising it in the air, about to smash it on the floor.
No.
Tatiana grabs his arm, twisting it back, forcing him to drop the phone. Rage fills Tatiana's eyes. She snaps his arm, breaking it in multiple places. The janitor cries out. Tatiana strikes him in the ribs, winding him before letting him drop to the floor. The janitor winces and wheezes, crawling away. Tatiana takes the mops and breaks off the base.
First you suffer as your victims have suffered, then I will send you to the final judgment.
No, please.
Your pleas fell upon deaf ears of your pleas fell upon the deaf ears of your victims, and I am their avenger.
And we knew this was coming. Tatiana rams the broken end of the mop up his rectum.
Classic comic dialogue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. The janitor screams. Cold and emotionless, Tatiana shoves harder. The janitor screams.
I mean, is it too...
I'm liking this script. I think
it is good. Yeah, no, that's good.
There we go. All right.
It's definitely like,
it's better than last time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing in 3 or 4 pages what I did in 1.
Yeah.
And the story is better, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
I mean,
better.
You actually hate this guy now, right?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
the objective.
It's you were going too fast. Like everything
That
felt
happens.
really hurried. Now it feels like, oh, this is some stone cold shit. So
That's what I want. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's better to start issue 2 with this than end issue 1 with it.
Yeah.
Am I on war campaign?
Yeah.
No, it's getting spicy.
Nah, it's getting spicy. Janitor's screams are cut short as he coughs blood. His body jerks involuntarily. The end of the mop handle is barely visible. Tatiana rolls him over with her boot, kneeling down. She watches as the remaining bits of life leave his eyes as he chokes on his own blood. Picking up the phone off the floor, she sets one of the videos to play on repeat before putting it on his chest. She phases through the floor. Door, sorry. Hallway.
I don't know what you call them in Canada, but around here we call doors doors.
There you go.
I don't know why I read floor there, but I guess it's the same as, Preston reading hentai out of mental.
There
But
you
anyway, yeah. Hallway. Tatiana phases through the door, appearing in her suit. She looks up and down, seeing no one in the hall. She straightens her suit jacket, walking casually away.
I think it would be cool if there was some slight, small sign of the violent scene that disrupted her appearance.
Well, her appearance is an illusion. It's an illusion spell.
Okay, fair enough.
So she can make it look any way she wants it to.
Okay.
Fair enough. Interior mental hospital recreation room. Lolita walks up to Emmy.
Hey there, vacation's over. It's time to go.
Emmy is completely out of it.
All right, we don't have much time. You gave me permission once, so now it's time for the sequel.
Lolita kisses Emmy on the lips. Emmy bolts awake with black eyes. She falls to knees, vomiting. Outside the recreation room door, Tatiana walks up to the door. She looks in the nurse's station window, sees the nurse unconscious on the floor. Tatiana kicks the door, sending it flying off the hinges. Recreation room. Across the room, Emmy has the window open, one of the bars pulled back, and is slipping between the open space.
Preston, you can do Emmy.
Missed me.
Outside, Emmy drops to the second-story window, grabbing the bars, letting go. She drops to the first-story window, grabbing the bars, then drops to the ground.
I'm here for good heroin sex.
There you go.
There you go.
Tatiana crashes through the third-story window, dropping straight to the ground. Emmy squeals away from the parking lot in Tatiana's black SUV. Tatiana races on foot to the street, but can no longer see the vehicle. She screams in frustration. Exterior parking garage day. Emmy parks on the roof away from other vehicles. Interior SUV. Shutting off the engine, Emmy leans back. Her eyes click to normal. Emmy looks around, panics.
What the fuck? Where am I?
Hey, it's me.
Emmy smacks herself on the side of the head.
No. You're not real. You're not real.
Lolita passes out of Emmy, appearing in the nude human form sitting in the passenger seat. Emmy jumps, seeing her.
What the fuck?
Hey, it's just me.
Emmy closes her eyes.
I'm losing my mind. I'm not really here. I'm still in the hospital.
You're not in the hospital, sweetie. I got you out.
Emmy opens her eyes.
How did I get here?
Duh. I borrowed your body and broke you out.
Emmy looks around, looks back at Lolita, reaching out, and she touches her shoulder.
Oh my God. You're real. You're the voice in my head. How are you sitting there?
I can transform my immaterial form into a material form for a short period of time.
And why are you naked?
Because this isn't some PG-13 Disney flick to appease super Puritan mommy and daddy. Seriously, what kind of magic fabric are the Hulk shorts made out of?
What do you want with me?
I really like what you humans did with the place in the last 1,000 years, so I'm planning to stick around here for a while.
Fine, but go haunt somebody else.
Sweetie, I'm a demon, not a ghost. I don't haunt, I possess.
Go possess somebody else then.
Can't. For me to remain on the material plane, I need a possessee. That requires a compatible vessel. You. So suck it up, Buttercup.
Fuck you.
Ooh, fuck. Such harsh language for a church-going Jesus freak.
Well, I summoned a demon that murdered my father. I think I'm entitled.
I might have been the weapon, but you did that murdering yourself.
You most certainly did. When I came through the gate...
Nope.
No, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't want him dead. Yeah.
You most certainly did. When I came through the gate, I didn't know you or him, but I felt the anger and the hatred you had focused at him, and I did what you wanted done.
He was fucking my best friend. I was angry. I didn't want him dead.
Well, he won't be fucking your best friend anymore, so you've got that going for you.
That's a good line. It's better. It gets better. There you go. Oh, and he really liked the Hulk shorts comment.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah. So what? Now I'm stuck with you?
Don't think of it as being stuck. Think of me as your new best friend. We'll go everywhere together. We'll do everything together.
You're existing without me now, so you don't need me.
Immaterial things need to stay in the immaterial world, material things in the material one. One of grandfather's stupid inconveniences. If I stay out of my vessel for more than 72 Earth hours, I die.
And you go to hell.
No, die, as in cease to exist, return to the ether. Frankly, that's better than going back to hell. But if there's a third option...
And what do I get out of this?
Now you're talking like somebody ready to make a deal with the devil.
The leader moves back into Emmy.
First things first, we need to get somewhere quiet and safe. I need to rest, get my strength back. We've got 2 angels hunting us.
Oh my God.
Don't.
What?
Don't invoke his name. He might hear. And then it's just a thought call away to his goons. I got some new clothes and things in the bag behind you.
Emmy pulls a small bag from the back seat, looks in it.
I am not wearing that.
Oh, come on. That outfit is the perfect blend of super cute and super sexy.
Emmy rolls her eyes.
I can't scroll any further. I guess that's the end.
Must be the end.
That's the end of page 10.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah, I think that's better.
A lot of it's familiar, but it's basically a rewrite from when I presented them before. So
Yeah. Like I'm way more emotionally invested in the scene. Like for Tatiana and the janitor. That was good. And Lolita and the mental hospital. The pages are much stronger and the story's a lot more engaging. So I think it did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Larry?
I would agree. Yes,
Yeah.
It's definitely much more spread out so that you can actually get a better sense of what's going on. And yeah, we knew he was a pile of trash, but putting the scenes in there really sells it. So
It was
hot stuff.
There we go.
Which part? The part where you got the broom handle at the ass?
Probably.
Yeah.
People love that stuff.
All right.
Let's look at Primal Chaos.
no constructives. It was pretty good.
I really didn't have anything. You got anything, Larry?
No, I thought it was paced pretty good.
Yeah, no, I thought.
Okay.
I didn't see any problems with the dialogue or anything. So.
Yeah.
Couple.
I mean, as long as my really long info dump is interesting, I tried to keep that as light and as fun as possible so I can get what I want to get across and.
I mean, I guess
establish
I
the
would
rules of the
say,
universe. And
if you were a demon, would you really explain to a mortal that you could be permanently killed without a host body? That feels almost like dangerous information to be giving out.
It's like their weakness.
Unfortunately, it's kind of needed for a plot.
And that's what it felt like. It felt like exposition delivery, but
however, yeah, it does work. So.
Yeah.
If I don't explain that, then the obvious question is, why does this demon want anything to do with this girl?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, she could be a little less specific. She could say, "Let's just say I need you," or or even that's not how possessing works. So that we, the audience, are kind of understanding that there's a more complex, more intertwined relationship between the two without being quite that specific.
Okay, I mean, I can look at that, making it a little more vague or whatever.
Supernatural Thelma and Louise.
Oh, that's a very good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I never felt so alive. She needs to say stuff like that. Thank you so much. Wow, super chat. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Thank you, Drawn Talk. Yes, I went with a more far away vantage.
Oh yeah, you're not just a floating head.
I'm not a floating head. I wanted to be, like Magneto on his throne or some shit now. So I had to back up the webcam a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. We got Primal Chaos. Let's share some pages here. All right. So Larry, why don't you fill in the audience on what happened last time on Primal Chaos?
Right. So this is the second issue. It picked up after the end of issue 1.
Yeah.
By
the way, I haven't heard anything from that artist in a little while.
Me neither.
You need to go shake that tree.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes. So Farouk and Samuel were still in the sewer. He woke Samuel up, and they left, essentially. And then there was the meeting with the council, discussing capturing Samuel. So that's pretty much all that's happened in the issue so far.
Okay.
In the first 10 pages, and I did change.
Who was discussing capturing Samuel with the council?
That's the senator and the secret council, Black Epsilon. Yeah.
Well, the monitors. The monitor is different than the camera. They're different places.
So I did make a few changes to the script last time that will kind of factor into these pages.
Okay.
I took out their little introduction where they told each other's names and moved it to later into the story. So yeah, that's really the only thing I think that I majorly changed from the first 10 pages. So
okay.
Yeah.
I have one suggestion, Larry.
Yeah.
On character names is that unless it fits into the story, being that this is a comic and not a movie, you can just put that in captions.
What's that? Like
character names.
Oh, yeah.
To that way you can say this is who this person is, unless introducing them by name is necessary to the story.
Right.
Like when I did Angel of Darkness and we meet all of our characters in the first couple pages, nobody says their names, but I give them all names with these little caption tags and little close-ups of them. So just something I don't know, we haven't gotten there yet, but I know that from writing screenplays, trying to get character names, introducing characters and their names in a film is really awkward to have these characters saying their names, and so I understand how that can get, and just something to think about when you're doing character names and introducing characters. But
I thought you can't just. Well, I guess they could just call each other, hey buddy or whatever, but I thought it'd be more interesting if they knew each other's names. So,
well, yes, I mean, of course they can call each other by their name.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like, hi, I'm John Smith. Hi, I'm Joan Smith.
Exactly. So, yeah, I understand.
Who's doing narration?
Get John to do the narration on this one. So.
All right, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll read other people's porn, just not my own.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any porn in this one.
So is this page 14 or page 11? I'm confused.
Page 11, but page 14 of the book. So.
Oh, okay.
Monitor extra close so that now it's extra.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I think there's only a few speaking parts. So
All right, so I'll just start if you want.
Sure.
All right, so page 11.
You can be Farouk. Yeah, sure.
Boston, Massachusetts, near sunrise. Panel 1. Wide shot looking toward the street from a narrow alleyway between two old brick buildings. Farouk peeks out into the street. He is still talking. He talks out loud to himself.
Okay, yeah.
We got this far. Now what? Streets are going to be crawling with people soon.
Panel 2. Wide shot. Farouk looks back down the alley. The narrow passage is also open from the other side. Light peeks down the openings and highlights Samael sitting beside a dumpster as he looks toward Farouk, waiting for the next move.
The alleys in this city suck. First, there's hardly any, and none of them are dark and forbidding enough to hide this dude.
Panel 3. Close up. Farouk sticks his head out of the alley again and looks up the street away from the viewer.
That place up the street looks pretty run down. I wonder.
Panel 4. Wide shot of the front of the old run-down building with the windows boarded up. There's a single door on the front with a large padlock on it. Panel 5. Close up of Farouk looking over his shoulder back towards Samael. He speaks to him and Samael expresses that he understands.
Wait here, I got an idea.
Page 15, but actually 12. Panel 1. Close up. Farouk picks a brick up off the ground near his foot. Panel 2. Wide shot. Farouk is at the old building attempting to break the lock off the door by hitting it with a brick.
Clang.
Clang. Panel 3. Close up on the lock as Farouk smashes it again harder. Clang!
Clang.
Panel 4. Close up on Farouk's face as he starts to panic and yell at the lock.
Fuck you, lock! Nothing ever breaks when you want it to.
Panel 5. Wide shot above Farouk, looking down toward the lock. He raises his arm high up toward the viewer, winding back for a power smash. Page 16, but actually 13. Panel 1. Same view as last panel. Samael grabs the lock and rips it from the door before Farouk can swing down. Panel 2. Wide shot from below, looking up toward the two. Farouk turns to yell at Samael.
What the fuck, dude? I told you to wait. Are you nuts? Someone will see us.
You are too loud.
Panel 3. Close up on Farouk's face as he looks towards Samael with an annoyed look.
Too loud. Okay, fine. You have a point. Just get inside before someone calls the cops.
Panel 4. Wide shot. View from inside the building looking toward the door. Farouk enters the building while Samael is then squeezing through the entry behind him.
Yeah, instead of is seen squeezing, just Samael squeezes.
Okay. Cool.
Well, this place has seen better days.
Page 17, but actually 14. Panel 1. View from behind the two now inside the building. The interior appears to be an old hardware store. The shelves and counters are still intact. A few boxes sit on the mostly bare shelves. Dust and decay cover everything.
Assuming that no one saw us or just didn't care, this is a perfect hideout. Close the door, would you?
Panel 2. Samael shuts the door behind him. Light still peeks through the edge as it doesn't stay tightly shut. Panel 3. Close up on Farouk as he rummages through his backpack.
We need a light.
Panel 4. Same view as last panel. Farouk pulls out an LED lantern out of his bag. Panel 5. Wide shot looking at the two from the side. Farouk turns on the light and shines it toward the door.
First thing, we need to block that door up. So, Mr. Muscles, why don't you help me push one of these heavy shelves against it?
Page 18, but actually 15. Panel 1. Close up. Samael grabs a shelf next to the door by one of his legs. Panel 2. He drags it across the door with one hand. Add motion lines for movement. Panel 3. Close on Farouk. He reels back a bit, still surprised by Samael's strength.
Or just do it yourself.
Panel 4, wide shot, same as page 14, panel 5. Farouk points his light toward the back of the store.
All right, I'm going to get some supplies. I'll check for a back exit. Might make it easier for coming and going. Make yourself comfortable and please stay put this time.
I will, so long as you stay out of trouble.
Panel 5, close up from the side, torso high on Farouk. Farouk points the light up toward Samael's face. Samael doesn't squint or react. Farouk has an annoyed and frustrated look on his face.
Listen here, buddy. I didn't ask for this trouble. It's a long story.
We have that in common. Only I did invite trouble.
Page 19, but actually 16. Panel 1. Same view as panel 5, page 15.
Let's save the stories for later. What's your name again?
Erebus. No. Samael.
Okay then, Samael. Shit, I didn't tell you my name. How rude of me. It's Farouk. Farouk Adia.
One thing, it might be kind of funny. Scroll up for a second, Preston. I just want to mention it before I forget.
Okay.
So when he says, what's your name? And he says, Erebus, no, Samael. I think Farouk should repeat that. Like, okay then, Erebus, no, Samael. Something like
that. But I didn't know if it'd be too cheesy or not. But I could do that. Yeah.
Given the back and forth that's already gone on between the two of them, I think it'd be fitting.
All right, cool.
Just my opinion. I wanted to mention it before I forgot it.
Cool.
Panel 2, close up on Samael's hand. Farouk grabs it and shakes it. Panel 3, morning, wide shot, view from outside the back of the building. There is a door that exits into an old parking lot. Farouk comes out of the door and calls into Samael.
Seal it behind me. I'll be back soon. Stay put.
Panel 4, 30,000 feet over Boston, Black Epsilon transport jet. Wide shot, a sleek-looking black passenger jet flies through the clouds.
That's a great description.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, it's the passenger jet, is not, instead of a passenger jet is flying through the clouds.
Oh, okay. We'll see. This actually goes back to our earlier point that we were discussing last week, that when you write in passive voice, everybody talks about your being passive voice and they don't actually look at the content of the message. Yeah. Whereas because this is an active voice, I was actually trying to visualize that scene, and my first thought was, well, how do we know that it's 30,000 feet? Aren't we just high up in the clouds? Right. You could just say high in the clouds.
True.
And then passenger jet could mean a Boeing 747, or it could mean one of those little, single engine, super expensive jets, which made me think, well, what kind of jet is it? And then you may want to describe if it's like, this is supposed to be the Senator. So very likely you're probably thinking one of those smaller, either single or twin engine, super expensive yacht like that the billionaires fly in.
Exactly.
So you may want to be more specific than simply saying a passenger jet, because passenger jet could be anything from a Boeing 747 to, it's just a jet that carries passengers opposed to a fighter jet.
Yeah.
A Cessna, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know what they were called.
A Cessna is a brand. It's like saying he's driving a Porsche.
Yeah.
But you can call it a Cessna or something similar
like
to that. Yeah. People will, if you say Cessna, people will know exactly what you're talking about, and that's. But again, as I said, because it's active, that's what I'm talking about, and not talking about how it's passive. Panel 5, inside the jet, wide shot, facing Senator Turner, seated in a luxury chair. She turns as one of her aides leans in to deliver a message from behind her. That's a very well structured sentence as well.
Yes.
We have a lead, Senator.
Page 20, but actually 17. Panel 1, streets of Boston, elsewhere. Same that moment. Wide shot. A tall, thin man dressed in black pants and a black shirt with a white lily logo on it walks along the harbor front, enjoying the morning air. Panel 2. Wide shot from the front of the man. He stops short and gasps as a light brighter than the sun beams down and surrounds him. Panel 3. Wide shot from behind the man, a massive ball of blue energy with hundreds of eyes circling the ball like electrons circle an atom. Appearing over him, 8 giant wings surround the outside of the energy ball.
Son of Adam, do not fear. You have been chosen by God Almighty to host his divine warrior. Your body will serve the salvation of all mankind.
Panel 4. Same view as last panel. The energy ball falls onto the man. Blue energy explodes out from the impact.
I was just getting Testify's plug in there.
Page 21, but actually 18. Panel 1. Wide shot for the side as the man stands on the street looking down at his hands. Panel 2. Close up on the man's eyes as he opens them. Blazing blue energy pours out. Panel 3. Close up on the man. From the side, he takes a deep breath, and blue color emanates from inside him as he whispers to himself.
Oh, how I've missed this feeling. Gabriel returns once more to the realm of men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sounds ominous. Panel 4. Wide shot from behind the man. The man, now possessed by Gabriel, looks over his shoulder toward the viewer.
I'm coming for you, brother. Samuel, your sin will not go unpunished.
Page 22, but actually 19.
I like this. This is some cold-blooded shit, you know?
Yeah, no, this is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I once again congratulate you on winning the contest. You definitely got a good thing going here.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Panel 1. This panel should be large and in the center with all the other panels surrounding it on the sides and the bottom. Back at the hardware store. Back at the abandoned hardware store. Wide shot. Wait. Okay. Wide shot. Samuel sits legs crossed on the counter facing the reader. His eyes are closed, his remaining right hand pressed against his chest. He thinks to himself.
I remember it all now.
Panel 2, top left, wide shot. In a large army of thousands of angels in battered and tarnished armor stands on a silver and gold field of flowers before a massive luminous gate. Before them, in front of the gate, stand an army of millions of angels in glowing gold armor.
The war.
Panel 3, right top. An imposing and handsome angel in... Oh, because you called it abandoned, but it's not abandoned because people are in it.
That's right. Oh, man.
Are we done here?
No, sorry. An imposing and handsome angel in golden armor is facing toward the reader. The tarnished angel army behind him, his blade raised as he screams, and he spreads his massive wings wide.
My brothers.
Panel 4, middle left. Samael is facing the viewer. He appears to be falling downward toward the field of flowers from panel 2. He is wearing gold armor. His wings are still intact. The sword he is holding in his left hand has exploded into 1,000 pieces. He is screaming in pain as the shattered tip of the blade flies back and chops his left arm off near the elbow. Shards of the blade pierce the rest of his arm and part of his chest armor. Glowing red angelic blood sprays out of his wounds.
My defeat.
Panel 5. Middle right. View behind angelic Gabriel looking down toward Samael, who is kneeling on the edge of a cliff. The cliff is nothing but blackness. Gabriel has gripped both of Samael's wings tightly near his back with his hands and placed his knee on his mid-area in pushing position. Samael hangs his head in shame.
My exile.
Panel 6, bottom left. View looking down on Samael and surrounding fallen. The angels have ripped the wings off of them as they push them over a cliff. They start to fall into the abyss. A wave of glowing red blood gushes from their wounds. Beneath them is nothing but black.
The Fall.
Panel 7, bottom right. Wide shot from behind Samael as he's fallen into Chaos Realm and had his armor melted, looking down. Below him, Chaos, an luminous stream of energy moving between two massive singularities, with a coil in the center of the stream that looks almost mechanical. Erratic moving parts move along the surface of the coil with no pattern or function.
Chaos.
Panel 8, bottom middle. This panel will be slightly larger than the others surrounding panel. The close-up on a girl's face. She is looking toward the viewer, smiling. She has Middle Eastern facial features. There's a blood splattered on her face and tears welling in her eyes. Fire can be seen burning behind her.
The one who freed my soul.
Page 23, but actually 20. Panel 1. Close-up on Samael's face as his eyes spring open. The sound of a helicopter can be heard very close outside the building. Panel 2. Inside the helicopter, looking down at the building from above the back parking lot, Jen Fairgate sits in front of the open side hatch of the chopper, her hand pressed against her earpiece.
Target acquired. Understood. Weapons free.
Panel 3. Jen aims a massive 4-foot rifle with a forked end where the barrel should be toward the building. There's a click and an energy charging sound. Click! Panel 3, inset. Close up on the forked barrel as it glows hot. Electric arcs shoot out in all directions. Panel 4, wide shot showing the helicopter and the building from the side as an intense beam of plasma shoots out toward the building. Panel 5, same view as last panel. The building explodes like a giant fireball. Kaboom!
That's all the pages we got. We're out of pages.
All right.
Pages.
Yeah.
So wait, did she just blow up the abandoned but not really abandoned hardware store?
Exactly.
I think the demon's going to be a little fireproof.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
We'll have to see what happens in the last 4 pages.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
So is this a plasma railgun?
Yes.
Because that was behaving like a railgun.
It was
That
a railgun. Yeah.
it wasn't real. There you go.
Yeah.
But I thought they shoot metal, not plasma.
This one shoots plasma.
Well, I guess if you heat up metal enough,
A plasma
it turns to plasma.
Yeah.
It was just a way of describing that it shoots a beam of light out without saying it shoots a beam of light out. So
Plasma rifle in a 50-watt range. There we go. And,
Blows up a building.
There you go.
exactly.
All right. It's good. I think if that's the end of the issue, it ends on.
Oh, that's the end of the issue?
Well, no, there's a couple more pages left. But
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be page 20. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're hooked. We got Samael and Farouk being opposed by Gabriel, who certainly got some name recognition. Way to use a public domain character that you don't have to introduce. You say the name, everybody knows. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way you introduce him, we know he's a badass.
Right. Yeah.
It's like we don't have to. It's just it's obvious. Like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Right. So that's cool.
Did you recognize any of the flashback scenes by any chance, Preston?
Flashbacks. Hold on.
Oh.
There we go.
While he's looking that up, I did have a question about it. Is that is that flashback scene going to be over a double page, or is that going to be a single page?
It's a single page with this little small panels going around it.
Well, I mean, it was the stuff that you originally submitted.
Yeah, there you go. You remember?
I recognize that. Yeah, when I'm reading through it, I'm like, here's the stuff you originally submitted. Yeah, see? I think it goes better here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it does fit better here. My only thing is some of those smaller panels, you have a lot of them, and there's a lot going on in them. And I don't know if your artist is going to have enough room to put them on one page. It might work out better if it's over a double page. That'll give you more room to kind of spread them out.
Yeah.
I was thinking double page. Yeah.
Okay. I could always spread it out. I
Yeah,
mean,
when I was reading through it, I assumed it was a double page spread, and I just had missed the header or something. So.
no.
I had reading the narration. I noticed that the header did not specify it was a double page, which is why I brought up the question, because I felt like some of those panels were kind of very detailed, and I don't think it would fit. But that also comes down to the fact that how many more pages do you have? Are you up to 24?
No,
because making this a double page would put you into 25.
That's right. Well, I've got 4 more to write, and I haven't written them yet, so I could always move it around.
Well, if you make it a double page, you only got 3 more to write.
There you go, right? Yeah.
I usually have the opposite end. I usually come at it from the opposite end. I already have the story written, and then try to figure out how to get the story I want to tell into the number of pages that I want to tell.
Yeah. Well, I'm writing this one as I go, so yeah.
I'm more and people say this, in like the Discord, talk about my customers have told me that they get a lot more visual artistic satisfaction out of like Guinevere than they did from like Cyberfrog.
Well, yeah.
Despite, okay, even as a high profile artist, but like my art team, like every page is boom. And and I write to that. I write these big pages and the stuff and the things and the boobs and I give the audience what they want. And
mainly because you have, not 50 splash pages, but anyway, yeah.
Right. I do have a fair number of them, but
no, well, I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get into what Ethan does, but anyway.
Right. I didn't mean for this to become a rabbit hole we were going to go down. I said that. I'm like, thanks. I appreciate that.
Well, I noticed that when I was doing my final version of Angel of Darkness, when it was originally 21 pages,
right,
and when I decided to cut the ash can and I still made it. I basically rewrote 21 to 28. And I think I only added like 3 panels. The rest of it was just, I took what was going on in this page, and instead of making it in 1 page, I split it over 2 pages. And then I kind of made those panels a little bit more detailed. And that was kind of how I told the exact same story in more pages. But again, you guys all see how I write. I write a screenplay from beginning to end, then I sit down and convert it. So I already know what my story is going to be and how it's going to end.
I've got a layout, like just in point form, so that I
do feel like
that. Yeah, but
I do feel like the section with Farouk, I felt like that we could cut a few.
Yeah, but I wanted them to have a little bit of time together before explosions and stuff. So
before hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, could Tarantino up the dialogue a little bit?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
More cheese.
Yeah.
More cheese.
More magic Hulk shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Give us some Royales with cheese or something.
Okay. We'll do that.
All right.
So was the character introduction that you were talking about before what you put into this page with Farouk and Samael? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah. Like before in the first 10 pages, it was before they left the sewer. They said, my name's Farouk and my name's Samuel or whatever. But anyway, yeah,
it works fine. Forget everything I said before.
Okay,
your character introduction works fine.
Okay.
I didn't know it was those characters. I thought it was your senator characters you were reintroducing.
No. They had no names or whatever. They're just in script. So
right.
Well, I mean, they do have names, but yeah.
Right, but at that moment, we don't really need to know their names.
No, we don't need to know their
names.
Right.
That was the scene that I was thinking that you had.
Oh, okay. No.
That I had in my head. And I was like, that's going to be super awkward to try to introduce all of those people with their names because you had like 6 people in a room that all know who each other are, and yet you're trying to cram name introductions.
You don't even really see half of them because they're in shadow, right? I'm just gonna.
Right.
Yeah, it's a trick, but it's so I can introduce them later on or whatever. But
right. Once they become more important to the story, then we'll be able to look back and be like, oh, that guy was on this. Was on that person on the airplane, stuff like that. So it worked fine, and the character introduction worked fine, I think. And
Okay.
So
cool.
All right. Now we got Iceberg. Destiny's Tip.
Destiny's Tip, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Who's going to narrate this one?
I guess I'll narrate this one.
All right, go for it.
There's 2 characters, I think, in most of the script. So
Okay.
one of them. Oh wait, sorry, 3 characters. So,
all right, so we got John Von Dongle.
There's John Von Dongle. There's Tobias, and there's
I love it already.
there's Tobias, and there's Zeke. I think those are the only 3 characters in the script.
Okay.
I think there might be one at the end too.
All right.
But okay, I can do John because he's not in it very long, and I'll narrate.
Oh,
so.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you want to narrate? Or?
No, he wanted to be John.
I know.
Oh,
okay. I wanted John to be in the script a little more.
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, John got canceled from his own story, The Blacklisted Man.
He's not in the story very much. So.
Blacklisted again.
Just wait for it.
All right.
Okay. So, page 1, panel 1. Von Dongle Mansion, New Jersey. Wide shot, looking down a long hallway from a low-angle view. The turn-of-the-century house has a 12-foot ceiling and is old, but well-kept. Artifacts from around the world cover the inside wall. A bank of windows line the outside wall. John Von Dongle, a fair-skinned, middle-aged Hispanic man dressed in a fine white suit, staggers down the hall toward a large room, a large door on the other side. Panel 2. John, close up on John's midsection. He's gripping his chest in pain. How could he? How dare he? Panel 3. View from inside the room at the end of the hall. Looking out, John bursts through the door towards the viewer. Panel 4. Wide shot. View from behind John. He collapses onto the floor of the room. In the room, we see a simple desk with a computer live streaming setup on it and a comfy chair pushed against it. The wall behind the chair holds a massive bookcase that covers the wall. It's full of comic volumes. Page 2, panel 1. Wide shot, looking down at John, laid out on the floor, his right arm extended forward. A smartphone lay before his hand, dropped as he fell. Close up on the screen of the smartphone. Text on the smartphone. Sean Piano says, "I'm sorry, but given the things I saw in your profile, I don't think I can work with you on your new book. Best of luck to you. Sounds like a fun project." Sorry. Panel 3. Close up on John's face as he forces his eyes open, grasping for breath. He reaches out towards something. Wide shot as John reaches up to his desk and knocks a bottle of black ink over towards him. Panel 3 insert. Close up on the bottle of ink as it spills out onto the floor. Panel 4. Close up on John from the side, laying on the floor. He's dipped his fingers in the ink and is madly scribbling something on the floor beside him.
John dies from it, dear John Lennon.
Page 3, panel 1. Same angle as the last panel. John is dead, his tongue hanging out of his mouth and his eye.
Oh no.
Panel 2, wide shot looking down on John's body. We see the word that he has written beside him, Blacklist. Okay.
That's good.
Panel
you just
3.
do a Citizen Kane.
Pretty much. That's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah.
It's good that you mentioned that. So, all right. Panel 3. Pig, Kentucky. Grumble House the next morning. Wide shot of the Grumble House in the front. Internet detective Tobias Ulysses Grumble sits on his deck smoking a corn pipe. Tobias is a middle-aged slender man who always wears a fine brown suit, brown trench coat, and topped with a brown fedora. Panel 4. Close up on Tobias as he pulls his smartphone out of his pocket. He thinks to himself. Preston, you can be Tobias.
Better see if my super intelligence is needed today for internet crime solving.
Page 4, panel 1. Close up on the phone screen as the trending topic on Twitter appears.
Famed comic guru and MeTuber John Von Dongle dead at 45.
Panel 2. Close up on the back of Tobias' face as he yells out in sorrow. Corn falls from his mouth. Okay. Go ahead, Preston.
Sweet sassy Molassie, not John.
Close up on Tobias's crotch as the corn pipe falls and lands on it and starts to burn his pants. Panel 4, wide shot facing forward. Tobias jumps to his feet and starts beating on his crotch, trying to wipe the burning embers off. He cries out,
"Ain't that just great? My friend dies and I toast my walnuts. What's next?"
Page 5, panel 1, wide shot. A black car is speeding down a dusty dirt road towards the viewer. Clouds of dirt billow out from behind it. Panel 2, close up on the tires as they grind as the brakes are slammed on. Smoke and dirt explode out around them. Panel 3, wide shot. The car is stopped in front of a blue mailbox in front of a long dirt driveway. In the distance, we see the Grumble House. Panel 4, wide shot. View from behind the car. An arm with a black sleeve and a black glove shoves a heavy package with a note onto it into Tobias's mailbox out the passenger side. Wide shot. Tobias looks out towards the road from his deck as the car speeds away.
"The mailman seems in a rush today. What was that about? Or what was up with that?" Sorry.
Page 6, panel 1, wide shot. Tobias stands facing the viewer, looking forward to his mailbox in the left foreground of the panel. A large package sticks out of the box with a note stuck on the end of it. It's so heavy the mailbox is tipped sideways towards Tobias. Panel 2, close up. Tobias pulls the note off the package. Page 3, close up on the note as he reads it.
"Von Donkel was only the tip of the iceberg. Blacklist will cancel you all."
Page 4, close up on Tobias's face as he reacts to clicking sound from the direction of his mailbox.
Is Tobias a clever nude?
Yeah,
Why are you? That's why it is everywhere. Okay.
yes. Page 5, wide shot. Tobias jumps forward towards the viewer as the mailbox explodes behind him in a massive fireball.
Boo! No,
Page 7, panel 1. Wide shot looking from below the ground. Tobias lands in a ditch as the explosion safely passes over him. Panel 2. Wide shot. Tobias stands with his back to the viewer and surveys the destruction. A large mushroom cloud shape billows from where the mailbox was, and the land around him is smoking black and charred. In the distance, we see his house is burning rubble. Panel 3, close up on Tobias as his fist clenches tight. Panel 4, wide shot, looking down on Tobias and the surrounding carnage. Tobias raises his arms to the heavens and screams.
Blacklist!
Page 8, sometime later on a highway in New Jersey. Panel 1, a beat-up compact two-door hatchback drives towards the viewer on a highway surrounded by trees on each side. Panel 2, inside the car, facing the driver and passenger. The passenger is Tobias and the driver is Zeke Dreyer, a famed pop culture critic. Zeke is a man around the same age as Tobias, dressed in a plain white shirt, white jeans, and a haircut that bears a resemblance to one popular in the 1930s Germany. They talk back and forth. John, you can be Zeke.
"So, tell me again how you survived that miniature nuke going off next to you."
"This is the last time I'm explaining it."
I think it's more
sorry.
dialogue.
Okay. That's doesn't quite fit in the dialogue box. Sorry. "My clothes are lined with lead. That's one of the reasons I always wear them. And I built that ditch deep enough to protect myself from such an attack."
That makes about as much sense as the last 30 times you told me. But what does that have to do with Von Dongel's death around here in New Jersey?
Panel 3, close up on Tobias' face as he looks over at Zeke angrily.
"How much of a spurg are you? I literally told you the reason when I asked for your help getting here. It's the whole reason you've agreed to come."
Panel 4, close up on Zeke's face as he explains himself while still watching the road.
"Sorry, Mr. Grumble. What with the PSD from the military mailroom and all that regular mail and email I had to send now as a critic, I forget things, you see? I mean, you heard all the issues I had mailing that last email on the trip up here. You know, it sticks in my brain like glue. Why is mail so hard to figure out?"
Panel 5. Close back on Tobias as he stares at Zeke oddly.
Okay. I'll explain it one last time, but try to remember.
Page 9, panel 1. Back to the same view as page 8, panel 2.
After my incident, I went straight to Twitter to tell everyone and post a picture, but I saw I had a DM. It was from someone called Destiny Spartan 69. It was a new account created that day. In it was a picture of John's body laying on the floor of his streaming room. Besides him, written in ink, the word blacklist.
Oh, just like in your note.
Exactly. So, or who's that?
That's you. That's Tobias.
Okay. Oh, exactly. So we're going to run our investigation starting at his place?
Panel 2, close-up of Zeke's face as he talks while looking forward driving.
But how do you know where John lives? He was my best friend, and I don't even know.
Panel 3, close-up on Tobias' face as he leans back and smiles, tipping his hat forward.
Oh, I have my ways.
Panel 4, wide shot from above as the car turns off the road into an unmarked dirt road leading into the woods. Page 10, panel 1. Wide shot as the car pulls up to the front of a huge turn-of-the-century mansion in the middle of the woods. Panel 2. Wide shot from the front of the car as the two men exit and stand.
This is the place.
I had no idea he was this loaded. I mean, he borrowed $1,000 from me last week to pay his overdue internet bill.
Panel 3. Wide shot from the front stairs of the house leading up to the main door. A figure in a dress, obscured in shadows, descends towards the two men. Panel 4. Close up on the figure's face as he comes into light. She is a portly middle-aged man of Middle Eastern descent with a bushy mustache. She is wearing a Victorian-style dress and has a bonnet on. She greets the two men. Who wants to be Cecily?
I'm Cecily, Lady Cecily Rupert Giddard. I was Mr. Von Dongle's maid and heir to his home. You must be Mr. Grumble and Mr. Dyer. Please come in.
There's page
All right.
3. Yeah.
So I think that was really good.
Yeah.
I think Big Steve was a fan. I think Mulby was a fan. So I think the people in the group are loving it. But I think it's actually got all right. Well, John is really going to be our only guy here because you don't know who these people are.
No.
Outside of maybe John Delarose, who was in the Discord.
I am familiar with Mr. Delarose.
Yeah.
But not speaking from as an outsider.
Right.
The opening parts were humorous. The characters eccentric and entertaining. I thought I guess around the halfway starting around the car ride or right before is where I kind of got a little bored. The dialogue seemed to not really go anywhere. It didn't seem to be as interesting. It was just kind of two guys sitting in a car ride talking, which in general isn't all that interesting. I thought the maid that you introduced at the end was an interesting element. It sounds like another very over-the-top, eccentric character, which will fit in the world that you're creating here of over-the-top eccentric characters.
Yes.
And I think that, hilarious antics can ensue. It gives me kind of a Clue vibe going into it. If for people that know that movie, I mean, it's old enough, everybody should see it. And if you haven't seen it, go see it like now.
It's good.
It is really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a murder mystery comedy.
Awesome.
You haven't seen it, Preston? You've seen like almost everything.
I
I bet you've seen it. You probably just haven't seen it in a while and forgot what it was.
No, I never saw it.
You got to go see it. But like now, I would say that in Clue, that was very similar in that you had very eccentric, over the top characters, but you had a lot of them, and they were constantly interacting with each other, which is where a lot of that comedy comes from. And right now we're only dealing with 3 in the first. Well, I mean, this as a comic book, 10 pages don't matter as much as in a movie. So
Yeah.
I take that back. I would hope that you have more of these characters coming, because I think the interactions between them are going to be the most interesting parts, as long as it doesn't get like the car ride where it's just you do one of those classic tropes where it's an as you're well aware,
Yeah.
and anytime a character has to say that in anything, they should never have to say that, because once we know, if the characters know something, they don't need to repeat it.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be better off either showing us those scenes, or I don't know, making it a little bit more wacky. But as it is, it's just 2 guys sitting in a car, and I said, to me, wasn't that interesting. But the rest of it was pretty good. If you actually plan on doing anything, you may need to change things. Like, I think Twatter might be a little too close to
Might be a little too close. Yeah.
the trademark. You might want to come up with something, something a little bit different. I use twerp, or
Yeah.
chirp, or chirp is what I use in my stuff as a Twitter variant, because it's kind of close in that when you see a little bird that goes, "Hey, I just sent you a chirp," or,
Mhm.
or I just chirped this to you, people will know exactly that you just tweeted something at them. So that's what I use. Feel free to use it if you want, or come up with something else. I don't
Mhm.
care. I just think that Twitter might be a little bit too close to the copyright,
Mulvey
or
says
trademark rather.
you need more panels of him looking up his past Twitter posts so you can go crazier with the comedy based on his past post, then end up with him getting in the car. This will allow you to showcase that the way you can show from how crazy John was. Oh, yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah, you look up John's Twitter post, yeah, and then it's like, oh, shit.
Ed Pecker, Pecker
That's
would
a
be a
good
good
one,
one
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Especially in a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could totally redo, and you could make the emblem could be a woodpecker.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
You could do pecker with their emblem being a woodpecker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be good.
And then people will
Oh,
look at it, they'll have that visual representation, but I think
Yeah.
you'd be close enough or far enough away from the trademark
Oh, definitely
Uh,
far enough. Yeah.
that
So,
people will get the
Yeah,
joke.
no one would mistake Pecker for Twitter. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Nobody would mistake that, but you're still safe.
I
Right.
feel I have to explain the car scene
okay.
a little bit to get the joke, because I
All
don't
right.
think anybody really got it. But
If you have to
it
explain
was
the
a thing.
joke, then it's not working.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Once you hear it though, like if you know comics recently, it was actually a dig on Marvel comics where they have like the same 5 panels for like 4 pages, just 2 people talking back and forth. But anyway, like yeah, that was what I was going for there. But anyway,
That's just efficiency.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
wait, they drew what, the same 4 panels and
Yeah.
had them on.
Oh no,
on
it's gotten worse now. Now they have like 3 or 4 pages with like the same panels back and forth, and yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
wow, that is cheap.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That, sheesh.
Anyway, and they always complain about it, so it was sort of a.
And
Well,
like
yeah,
I find
yeah.
and I commented on this before, but I find it like interesting that like when I'm reading Big Two comics, I like there's a lot. They tend to be a fair amount of panels per page. I know I was commenting. I was reading Three Jokers, and just like amazed. Like his standards seemed to be 9 panels on every page. But even reading Wonder Woman and with Simone and whatnot, like it's I felt like they were putting a lot more dialogue in the stories. So
Yeah.
like the idea of reusing 4 pages with just a lot of dialogue back and forth. Like, I find like I don't really like a lot of dialogue in my comics. Like, I like big images because I feel like
Well, it's visual, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Like,
I don't want to. I'm not reading a novel.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not a
reading
novel.
a graphic novel.
Right.
Right.
So.
I would only caution you about doing a joke like that would be funny.
That would be
You
funny.
could also describe the panels as being photocopies of photocopies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever worked in an office.
Yeah.
But one of my biggest pet peeves working in his office, especially with digital copy machine, not digital printers, is people that have these forms that are literally photocopies of photocopies and photocopies. The worst ones are when they run out of them, so they grab an old one, white out all the text, and then photocopy that. And then that becomes the form. So you could, if you did something like that, I think would, but going back to what I was going to say is that I would caution you about using jokes that could become quickly dated.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that may not, well, of course, this whole script is kind of dated given the people that you're lampooning.
Right.
But that being said, the eccentric over the top characters that you introduced are going to be funny no matter what, even down the years later where people don't know these people. But if you're using a joke based on something that where you kind of have to know the context, if people don't know the context, or if in 10 years that's no longer a thing, then that joke gets lost on people.
That's true.
So that would be my only caution about you doing jokes that you end up becoming a Scary Movie 4.
Right, yeah.
Like
I do like that type of comedy though, but I understand
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the spoof comedy.
Yeah.
The problem with the spoof comedy is that it's dated.
It is.
It's got to get out, and like how many of the spoof comedies that came out in the early 2000s do you actually still watch that you enjoy?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I can name one, and that's Not Another Teen Movie, because they spoofed John Hughes films.
Yeah.
John Hughes films are basically classics. John Hughes films are going to be around for a long time. I mean, they're still around, and they came out in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So we're 40 years away from John Hughes films, and they're still popular today. So a movie like Not Another Teen Movie, which spoofs John Hughes films, will still be relevant to people that that know the original source material. The first Scary Movie might be because they both mostly lampooned Scream.
Yeah.
And Scream is kind of a classic. They're actually remaking it now.
Yeah.
Because they're completely out of ideas.
Okay.
So the first one,
series or something. Yeah.
The first one might actually have some longevity for people that are fans of the original. But Scary Movie 4 and all of the other ones that came out, and I enjoyed them when they came out, but that's just what you run into when you do spoof movies or something like that. So
they're not really out of ideas per se. They're just not coked up enough to take new risks. That's all it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Coke has anything to do with it. But you are correct that they do not want to take risks. You are absolutely correct.
Cocaine has a lot to do with the 80s, so yeah.
Pecker, less words is more. I would keep the reference as it would be a time capsule situation, but so far potential, I would say a 48 to 72 page graphic novel. You can, but I don't know, later after that.
I think he means letter or something. Letter, yeah. But I don't know. That seems a little large for this. Maybe a couple issues, but nothing major. Yeah. It's just a joke more than anything. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll really like invest it in the characters and want to write a lot. Who knows?
All right, Larry, you can be Lilia.
Okay.
I'll narrate because I'm sure I still have plenty of typos in this damn thing. Panel 1, 2 over-the-shoulder autocannons appear from Lilia's rear-mounted weapons pods and train on a distant target. Panel 2, inset, her HUD locks on a single approaching target. Panel 3, Lilia opens fire with her cannons on the approaching enemy. Panel 4, the BF-109 takes evasive action as the bullets fly all around it.
The enemy was faster, more agile than any I have ever faced.
Panel 5, the BF-109 continues to dance around the rounds. I guess that does work. In distant space, 4 PF-27s open fire on it.
We couldn't touch any of them.
13, 5 panels. Panel 1, Lilia fires next to Sergey.
Sergey.
Oh, yeah, John.
Captain Baranov, we have opened fire and got nothing.
Panel 2, Paranov's face shows determination.
Requesting permission to fall back.
And Larry.
Negative, Sergey.
Panel 3, the reflection of BF-109 draws closer on Baranov's visor. Baranov's reaction betrays his concern.
We are the only defenders this operation has.
Oh, wait, hold on. We got collaboration ideas. There you go.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. Skinny and Larry.
Yeah.
Icebergs. I like it.
Icebergs.
Yeah.
Since Moby kind of came up with the title,
Yeah.
he could write an issue too. So
There we go.
yeah.
So where were we? Were we Baranov's line?
Yeah, I just read that. So, yeah.
Panel 4, the BF-109 fires a single explosive frag missile, and it's still going to be, oh, wow. I hope you guys are okay with that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
We can't just leave these people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The missile fragments into diversion shards of death racing towards Baranov.
Oh, wow.
14, panel 1, darts of depleted uranium fly through Baranov's suit. Blood flies from one which penetrates his visor and face.
Ah!
Panel 2, Sergey, wide-eyed with fear, orders the retreat.
Attention, all units. Captain is down. Fall back to the transport.
Panel 3, conference room on Ceres. Cassius studies Lilia carefully across the conference table.
All right.
So your wingman, warrior first class Kaliskanov, ordered the retreat?
He did. Others may have. We routed after the loss of the captain, Baranov.
And by the way, that should be Kalishnikov. Yeah.
Is that what I said?
No.
Yeah, you were a little off. I mean, like, typically I wouldn't ride you, but I mean, Kalishnikov. I mean, that's the guy who made the AK-47, you know.
Warrior class Kalishkanov.
Yeah. Panel 4, Lilia flies away from
It's a little hard to get into my Russian accent when you
Right.
actually write in American English.
Yeah.
If you wrote it in Russian accent,
Okay.
you write in Russian
True.
accent, I can read
Yeah.
Russian
I
accent.
understand. See, I need to drop some articles, you know.
Yeah.
But when
You don't know how much shit people gave me because I dropped articles from Lilia's dialogue. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I think it depends on if they're speaking, if they're supposed to be speaking German,
right.
or Russian, then having them speaking Russian with it English, having them speak English with a Russian accent is a little off when they're actually supposed to be speaking Russian.
Right.
Because we know in our head, we can basically assume in our head they're speaking Russian, so they don't really think anything of it. But here, I'm assuming that they're speaking English.
Right. Yes.
So I think that might be why people were kind of like, well, I know they're speaking, you know. It was like that. I love that line from Hogan's Heroes. I will never forget it. But there was a line when Hogan and his company are going to go undercover in this German party.
Yeah.
And Hogan says to his men, "How's your German accent?"
There we go.
Not how's your German, how's your German accent? And the joke obviously is that when they're speaking the German accent, they're supposed to be speaking German.
Right.
Right.
So, but it was just kind of funny that the way that he was, and that's why I always remember that. Like, how's your German accent?
All right. Lilia flies away from the enemy with Sergey by her side.
And then the end followed quickly.
Page 15, 5 panels. Panel 1, pieces of armor and technology mix with freezing drops of steaming blood as Lilia turns in shock, as Sergey, riddled with bullet rounds not far from her.
I don't know who sent the attackers, but they were the best I've ever seen.
Page 2, cockpit view, reaction series. Lydia's face reacts in horror at the death of her companion.
How do you pronounce that again?
Bojamoy.
Bojamoy. All right. Sergey.
Panel 3, she momentarily breaks down and begins to cry. And we got a sniff. And then page 4, she glances up as she steals her resolve.
After the loss of my combat partner, I signaled our surrender.
Panel 5, Lydia's battlesuit takes a hold of the shattered remains of Sergei's and prepares to tow her dead companion back to the ship.
FB-27 requests permission to signal surrender on open channel.
Page 16, panel 1, Lydia flies, dragging the hulking armor of her dead companion in the armor of her left hand.
PF-29 concurs. Surrender message commencing. Attention, all combatants. Under Article 2 of the Space Warfare Treaty, all combatants are ordered to cease engagement and follow for orderly surrender and retreat of defending force.
Page 2, Lydia's pod approaches the Yak 3 transport, whose rear hatch hangs open for the warriors to return.
Beta Knight Danovich reporting surrender signal has been issued. All units respond with status and location.
Panel 3, Lydia's pod lands in the bay, carrying the hulk of her dead companion.
This is Beta Knight Danovich. Sound off.
Panel 4, Lydia looks out in the field of distant stars. A few asteroids dot the horizon.
Did anyone else survive?
Panel 5, from a distant vantage, the Yak 3 transport sits in space against the backdrop of stars and asteroids. It feels small and insignificant.
Anyone?
17, panel 1, headshot. Lydia begins, tears begin to stream down Lydia's face.
Bojamoy, they're all dead.
Panel 2, Lydia's face shows her joy. Anita Kaya.
This is the chaplain. Message understood. We lost. Returning to base.
Katya, good to hear your voice.
Panel 3, 3 enemy combatants in BF-109 idly observe Katya flying back towards the Yak 3 transport.
Probably the only thing we can rejoice in.
Panel 4, back at the Sirius station briefing room, Lydia sits at the conference table before Cassius.
Voltaire was lost without inflicting a single casualty on the damn
V's.
Damn V's?
Yeah, they call them V's.
The what?
V's.
I guess I could spell it out as V-E-E.
The damn V's? I don't. Okay. I don't know what a damn V's is.
A damn is just an expletive.
It's a colorful metaphor.
And a V's?
Yeah. A colorful metaphor, if you will. And they call them the V's. The enemies. I didn't want to call them
it's like when they call the droids clankers in the Clone Wars or something like that. You know, it's just a slang term, yeah.
They're from Venus. They're the V's. The V's from Venus.
The damn V's.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Without casually on the damn V's.
Shitting on my alien name. All right.
Yeah, I'm a little lost on I'm lost on the lingo. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
We have no chance.
Yeah.
We have no chance to study what these new enemy suits can do. Headquarters needs information to formulate a response.
All my answers died on the battlefield.
Panel 5. Cassius and Lydia stand.
My superiors will not be pleased with my report, which they will want to hear immediately. You will need to undergo a psychological evaluation before being cleared for further assignments. You are dismissed, Danovich.
Yes, sir.
18, panel 5. Panel 1, seated at his desk, Cassius issues an order.
Valkyrie, request conference with Admiral Hood. Affirmative, Captain. Stand by.
Panel 2, Admiral Hood appears on the view screen before Cassius. A steel plate sits over the top of the right half of the Admiral's face, provides an electronic eye that replaces an old war wound. Cybernetics has similarly replaced his left arm with one made of stainless steel. And I'm going to reference Breathe from Robotech. But I don't want the plate to go all the way like the way. Cassius stands and salutes.
Well met, Admiral.
Report, Captain Cassius.
Beta Knight Danovich Beta Knight Danovich's report provided no useful insight into how we might counter the new threat posed by the V's.
Panel 3, Admiral Hood sits at his desk looking at his view screen, which features Captain Cassius.
That's disappointing. Intel shows that they have taken over the Voltaire mining operation. A fleet is moving into the area, and they will soon be able to threaten all our operations in the belt. Maintain a state of readiness, Captain.
Aye, aye, sir.
Panel 4, Hood looks over tactical maps.
Valkyrie, prepare a report for the Earth defense.
Panel 5, a Venus II class battlecruiser glides through this space stern first. Its sleek design bristles with guns and 12 docking stations, each of which features an FW-200 transport.
Our initial contact with the enemy has proven disastrous.
19 panels 4. Panel 1, the Venus II cruiser decelerates by firing thrust in the direction opposite its forward momentum as it glides stern first towards the shadow-shaped asteroid Voltaire, which features a similar smelting facility as Ceres built into one side.
The enemy has claimed the Voltaire asteroid.
Panel 2, the BF-109 power armor glides down the launch tube into the heart of the Voltaire asteroid.
The smelting facility radioed their capitulation.
Panel 3, the BF-109 walks down the wide corridor, which can barely accommodate it. Heated plasma boils off its wrist-mounted anti-personnel bayonet as it searches for enemies with sinister intent.
The enemy has occupied the facility.
Panel 4, 2 BF-109 stand in the landing bay with their plasma bayonets unsheathed and ready to kill any one of the 6 hostages who sit cowering on the floor in their industrial coveralls.
All 6 members of the maintenance detail surrender to the enemy forces and are awaiting friendly transport back to Ceres. We await reports of any fleet movements from Venus. Meanwhile, we will remain ready for their next move. Sincerely, Admiral Hood.
Page 20, panels 5. Panel 1, admit a lush green forest featuring flora and fauna that have been genetically modified beyond their ancestral earth-dwelling forebears. A small, furry, fox-like creature moves through the leaves. And we're on Venus.
Venus.
Who wants to be Lucifer?
A smashing success, Your Highness.
Panel 2, a large boar-like predator runs out of the undergrowth towards the small, furry creature. Roar!
The strike force has reported the handing off of the hostages without incident.
Panel 3, Trinity, the character originally featured on Whiskey Paint cover of Guinevere 3, stands in a clearing at the edge of the forest, attended by Lucifer, a drone, and Maximilian, a warrior. The boar-like creature approaches Trinity from out of the forest, carrying the corpse of the fox-like creature in its mouth. Trinity engineered the V's with jet-black skin as to withstand the increased radiation of Venus and space. The warriors appear as towering black giants of solid muscle with menacing biomechanical implants extending from their forearms. Far more diminutive than warriors, drones feature a striking beauty of aquiline androgynous appearance.
No words yet from Earth diplomatic channels.
Yes, good boy.
Panel 4, the boar-like beast drops the kill at his master's feet.
You see how he is, Lucifer?
Panel 5, Lucifer genuflects to his queen.
Indeed I do, Your Highness.
21, panel 5. Panel 1, leaving his forest, Trinity leads Lucifer and Maximilian towards a nearby hover car parked along a stream. In the distance lies a sci-fi cityscape.
Our perfect planned society constructed from a hell no human could imagine taming.
Panel 2, Maximilian holds the door open for her as Lucifer assists her into the car.
How far we have come in such a short time.
Indeed, Your Highness.
Panel 3, the driverless, topless hover car flies through the air towards the city.
I am sure the humans are coming to understand that we will dominate the solar system.
Panel 4, the hover car flies hundreds of feet off the ground and towards the towering royal palace of Venus.
A testament to your amazing intelligence and perseverance.
Panel 5, the car lands in the bay halfway up the structure.
And how well you have designed us.
And that's just all right. And then I just
you want to keep going? How much more do you got?
I ran out of writing, but
okay.
I need like 2 more pages. You know, she gets there, she outlines. All right, we're about to do some bad shit.
Yeah,
make it so, and then the issue ends. Yeah, so
cool.
That's what I got.
That's pretty good. I like it. I like where it's going. I think Lucifer's a little too expositional, but I don't know if that's. I know you're trying to do a lot in a short amount of time and kind of point the series in the direction you want it to go. So
Right.
I don't know if that's just a what do you call it? An unnecessary evil.
Right.
But besides it coming off as a little expositional, I thought the pages were really strong and really good.
Thanks.
Besides getting confused on what V's were.
Yeah.
You don't ever explain that. You just drop that in as a line and go with it.
Yeah.
Or did I miss the?
No. Yeah.
No,
You're right. You're right.
It was just dropped in there yet.
Okay. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, like, I'm sure people may overlook it, and then when they finally figure it out later, they'll be like, "Oh, that's what they were talking about." Yeah. You know, people do that kind of stuff, and sometimes that's better than explaining what it actually is.
What do you think, Larry?
Yeah, I think if you're, I mean, I didn't really get hung up on that or anything like that because, you know, watch enough sci-fi, they always have these weird little names for enemies and whatnot. So, I don't know. I think you've definitely nailed down again the hard sci-fi sort of mech suit sort of genre.
Oh, you think so?
It has that feel to it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Because this is my first foray into doing anything like that. But
No, but there is a lot of exposition in those types of works, if you will. So because they're about exposition, they're about technology and stuff like that. So
right.
over explaining things is sort of part of the genre, I guess. So when you have your 2-page spread about mining or whatever, well, yeah, I've seen stuff like that before, so it's not that big a deal. I don't know, like it's probably not for everyone, but I like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now
and I like how you're blending your two universes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know, well, why make up something new when I can just recycle the old?
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what we call drive-in sales.
Yeah.
Hey, you found a customer base. You know what they like.
Yeah.
Give them what they want.
I mean, look, people are like, "Are you going to make a silly? Are you going to make a sequel to White Lily?" No, I'm not.
Yeah.
But if you like Lilia, she's in this story right here. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. No, hey, I have nothing against, you know, giving your customers what they want.
Yeah. I would change the name of the main villain. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think he means Lucifer, but
oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't
do you mean Lucifer or Trinity?
Trinity, yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of okay with the term Lucifer. I mean, assuming he's like kind of the general, though. You know, in Christian mythology, Lucifer is the big bad, and you're kind of making Trinity the big bad, and he's just kind of the dumb underling.
I mean, look, I'm dropping in a lot of sci-fi call-ins. So in the original 78, I mean, one, you know, we already know Trinity is, you know, part demon and the spirits exist and that she created this. So I just figured, you know, she would be perfectly comfortable with kind of biblical, you know, angel demon kind of names and shit.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. The only downside would be that Lucifer is a specific character in the mythology. So using that name.
The 78 Battlestar Galactica. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Yes.
I did not.
Okay, it was pretty good. But Baltar is the evil, you know, the evil human who's leading the Cylons. And he has this #1 general named Lucifer.
Yes.
Who's like his Cylon liaison, who doesn't understand why the Cylons are dealing with him at all. You know, like Lucifer is like, all right, I'm under orders to do what you say. I think you're pretty stupid. And so, you know, Baltar would always explain the plan, and Lucifer would go like, okay. You know, but I mean, here that's not their dynamic, but still, I was like, well, I've got a chance to drop in, you know, like a #1, with the villain. Why not call him Lucifer? Because it goes with the spiritual thing. I don't know. It's just an idea.
Yeah. No, as I said, my only thing is because he has a known character.
Right.
People may get confused and might be a little, well, is this the same character that if they're expecting one thing?
Right.
Like when I started Demonatrix and I was looking for a name for Lolita, I played around with calling her Lilith.
Yeah.
But Lilith is a character in the mythology,
Yes.
and I didn't want my character to be confused with that character in the mythology, so I chose a different name.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
but whatever works, you can make it work.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Yeah, I found I was throwing in a little bit of Battlestar Galactica.
No, that's cool. I mean, that'll be a nice little Easter egg to people that have seen that.
Right.
That was a bit before my time.
I honestly forgot about that until you mentioned it. So yeah, it's been a while since I watched that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, next week, I'll probably, you'll see the ending, but
Cool.
the ending is going to be, Sinister Plan, twirl mustache, roll credits.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's a good way to end an issue 1 because it lets us know what we're in for, and when it comes around to trying to promote issue 2, we know where we're going with it.
Right. Yeah. But I gotta say, John, I find comics a lot more liberating than screenplays. I remember a screenplay. Someone brings in a script or something. I'm like, it's cool, but it's never gonna get me.
I mean, besides the fact that you have more, I'll say, creative flexibility in a comic.
Yeah.
In that. You're not just writing a script and handing it off to a director or a producer. You are actually the director and the producer in a comic.
Yeah.
But me, from a writer's, which I understand and I get that, from a writer's perspective, I still find writing in screenplays to be more, when you're writing more action focused, which is what I do primarily, I find it much easier to write action in a screenplay and then worry about how it's going to be broken into panels later.
Right. Yeah, it is a lot easier to write action in a screenplay.
It is.
Yeah, because action in a comic is like
because you have to decide, well, what's the panel, what's the angle, what's all of, you're basically storyboarding. So I like to write first and storyboard later. Now, and Demonatrix, being that it's a Daz comic, I don't have to actually put it into comic format. I just go right to the actual comic book. Because I kind of just do all that formatting in my head as I go. But yeah, when I eventually get around to doing Angel of Darkness, that's why that was in a comic, because I got to start hunting for. I'm going to start shopping around for artists.
Awesome, fantastic.
That'll be fun.
Wait, we're making comics here,
Yeah.
The world indie comics. What can I say? And 2021, you're going to see my. Last Week in Comicsgate, which I'm going to be making into a documentary. We've been doing that this year. And, but the general trend of the, there's basically been a fragmentation and a diaspora. And now people are just like, well, I'm making my comics and they're making their comics and they're making their comics. And, we got these kind of, distinct little indie subgroups and stuff. And, it'll be interesting if the drama dies down a little bit and it becomes more focused on like fundamentals of storytelling and books and shit, or if we just maintain, the tribal Twitter wars. I don't know. We'll see. But I know where my focus is.
Yeah.
Well, Twitter is great for having tribal wars.
Yes, it is.
I'm right there with you. I'm hoping to get a couple books out this year, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, this is Press Pulse of Pocket Jacks Comics. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Night.